This is it, bro. Like, it come down to Caitlin, bro. It is what it is, man. Caitlin, you gotta take a stand, man. You stand for something or you die. You'll fall for anything, man. Caitlin Clark, you gotta take this, y'all, and it's plain and simple. Caitlin Clark has to give the Indiana Fever an ultimatum. That's right. I've been disgusted all day about this piss poor, embarrassing performance from the players and most of all from this coaching staff. Stephanie White, I'll say it again, you are a pure bum of a coach.
There comes a point in every athlete's career when they must draw a line. For Caitlin Clark, that moment has arrived. What's happening in Indiana isn't just frustrating, it's unacceptable. The Fever are wasting the rarest kind of talent to come through women's basketball in years. And at the center of it all is a coaching disaster that's gone from baffling to infuriating. The recent 19-point loss wasn't just another bad night. It was a flashing red warning light that something is deeply broken, not with Clark, but with the system she's trapped in. And fans are no longer whispering their concerns.
Watch a 19-point loss, Caitlin Clark's return, in which, since this is a lady we're talking about, it looks like Stephanie White has spaded Caitlin Clark, for lack of a better way of putting it. If it was a dude, I'd say neutered, but, you get my point. She has taken away Caitlin Clark's greatest asset, which is the creator.
They're shouting them from the rafters. Stephanie White, the head coach of the Indiana Fever, has taken the most electric player in the league and somehow slowed her down. Clark, known for her fast-paced, dynamic style, is now reduced to standing in the corner, drifting through offensive sets designed with all the urgency of a DMV line. Instead of unleashing her vision and creativity, the Fever have shackled her. No fast breaks. No movement. No energy. The system is built for stagnation, not success. Clark isn't just underused, she's...
So I'm getting concerned. I'm getting concerned about Caitlin Clark's future with the Indiana Fever, because it's not just that they're losing these games, it's the manner in which they're losing. It's the low shot attempts from Caitlin Clark. It's the low usage from Caitlin Clark. It's the having her in the corner, coming off these screens, getting the ball on the wing, and then her losing the basketball, keep getting the ball in these unfavorable positions. She is at her best when she's pushing it up the floor, coming off the screen with Aaliyah Boston. You're not even doing that anymore. It seems like the Indiana Fever aren't prioritizing Caitlin Clark's growth as a player, but what they're prioritizing is the system of basketball that Stephanie White has ran throughout
being misused. She's a point guard, a floor general, a highlight reel waiting to happen. But what fans are watching now feels more like punishment than a plan. The offensive sets are clunky and lifeless. Teammates walk through plays with the enthusiasm of an off-season scrimmage. Meanwhile, Clark delivers pinpoint passes into a system that collapses on itself like a house of cards. And the lineups? They've become a weekly guessing game. Small ball rotations that make no sense. Defensive anchors like Lexi Hull buried on the bench. It's as if the coaching staff is drawing names out of a hat.
White puts out a lineup yesterday. Aaron McDonald starting at point. Kelsey Mitchell's at shooting guard. Caitlin Clark's at small forward. And I'm like, what is going on? Are we trying smaller lineups? I guess, okay, but are we doing a point forward situation? Is that what we're doing? We're doing a LeBron James point forward. No, the hell we ain't. We ain't. We're just running the same old, I want to say same old offense, but I don't know what that offense...
And hoping for the best. This isn't a rebuild. It's basketball malpractice. Even opposing teams seem confused. They come expecting to face Clark's full arsenal, but instead see her spending entire possessions as a decoy. They're winning games by default, not by outplaying the Fever, but by watching them unravel. The fans have had enough. What started as excitement has curdled into exhaustion. People who once tweeted every assist are now wondering if it's even worth watching. And make no mistake, the patience is gone. Indiana isn't just losing games.
It's not going to change. Stephanie White is not going to change. Stephanie White is not going to stop until her style of drag everyone down to their level basketball prevails. She's not going to change. And I do not think that we're going to see very much of Stephanie White, or very much of the Fever playing good basketball.
They're losing their fan base, one silent quarter at a time. This isn't about one bad night or one bad season. It's about vision. It's about growth. And right now, Clark is not being developed, she's being wasted. If this continues, Caitlin Clark will have no choice but to make a stand. She needs to walk into that front office and say, either we fix this, or I'm done. I won't let you profit off my name while burying my game. Because this isn't just her career, it's her legacy. And she deserves better. There's a fine line between poor coaching and active sabotage. What we're witnessing in Indiana looks dangerously close to the latter, not out of malice, but out of sheer stubbornness. You've got the most talked about rookie in decades. A generational talent. A floor general with vision, rhythm, and electricity. And yet, the Indiana Fever are running plays that couldn't beat a middle school press. Caitlin Clark is not a role player. She's not a spot-up shooter, not a decoy, not a cardio machine logging 30 minutes of sprints.
You guys, as long as Stephanie White is here, we'll never see the true greatness that Caitlin Clark has within her. We'll never see it. Caitlin Clark has to march up to that front office and say, hey, look, either you guys are going to fix this and we're going to do it my way, or I will not put on this jersey and I will not allow you guys to profit off of me any longer. It's that simple. You want her or you want me? I'm going to pick the coach. I'm going to tell you what players I want.
Is an offense, the kind you build a franchise around. And yet she's being sidelined, not physically, but strategically, forced to play off the ball, treated like a swing player in a system allergic to innovation. Every minute Clark isn't initiating the offense is a minute wasted. Watching this unfold feels like asking Mozart to hum in the background while someone else fumbles at the piano. And the worst part? The coach is doubling down on it. Stephanie White continues to shrink the floor and slow the pace, as if repetition is the new revolution. While fans beg for tempo, ball movement, and space for Clark to work, they're getting stagnant rotations, robotic sets, and a brand of basketball that feels more like performance art. Except no one is clapping at the end. This isn't about style. It's about misuse. Clark isn't a player who fits into an offense, she is the offense. She's Luka Doncic with a smoother shot. She's James Harden with court vision and heart. And yet, play after play, we see her being marginalized. The Fever offense is collapsing inward. Screens aren't being set.
I don't know what Stephanie White is doing. First, the Golden State Valkyries just cracked the Indiana Fever. Like there's no way to go around it. They're playing an envious style of basketball. I would say something that, you know, when I think of the Indiana Fever, I'm like, yo, they need to be running the offense like that. And I was absolutely baffled by the decision to start Ari McDonald, Kelsey Plum, and Caitlin Clark.
Mates are passing the ball in circles. Caitlin Clark, the reason most fans even tune in, sometimes doesn't touch the ball until there are 9 seconds left on the shot clock. It's not just bad strategy. It's basketball malpractice. And the fans? They're not just upset. They're in open revolt. This isn't Twitter rage. This is data-driven, clip-sharing, game rewatching frustration from a fanbase that knows exactly what's going wrong. Clark's usage has become a national conversation, not because fans are impatient, but because we've all seen what she's capable of. And now we're watching that potential get smothered. You don't build a franchise by dimming your brightest star. You let her light the sky on fire. Instead, the Fever are handing her a fire extinguisher. And this coaching decision, to build around anyone but Clark, is not just a mistake, it's a choice rooted in history. Stephanie White tried fast-paced offense before. It failed at Vanderbilt. She tried again in Connecticut, and when it didn't work, she abandoned offense altogether. Now, she's brought that
emotion offense, and Caitlin Clark is not a player that plays within an offense. She is an offense. Caitlin Clark is more of a James Harden type. She's more of a Luka Doncic type. She's the type that you have to give the ball to and allow to do whatever she wants to, but Stephanie White is putting her in this box. There were so many plays where Ari McDonald would bring it up, and then Caitlin Clark would come off these screens that weren't even good screens. They weren't even good picks. And then you're seeing the Indiana Fever offense totally crash, or Caitlin Clark might not touch the ball till 9 seconds left in the shot clock because it's went through Ari McDonald, it's went through Sophie Cunningham, and then finally it goes to Caitlin Clark, and she has 9 seconds to actually make a shot. Caitlin Clark is obviously the reason why everybody's watching.
Mindset to Indiana, where, somehow, the game plan seems to be slow the game down and wait for someone to panic. But Clark isn't just another player. She's not someone you tuck into a broken system. She's the kind of talent you build a new system around. And if this continues, if the front office allows this to persist, Caitlin Clark may have to force the issue herself. Because this isn't about egos anymore, it's about legacy. And beyond Indiana, there's a deeper problem brewing in the WNBA. There's a quiet resistance to new stars shining too brightly. A kind of legacy gatekeeping that feels more medieval than modern. In this league, if you're flashy, if you draw crowds, if you break the mold, you don't get celebrated. You get humbled. Not by competition, but by officiating, benchings, and politics. There's an unspoken rule: don't outshine the veterans. Don't win your way. And now, the referees seem to be in on it too. Clark gets hacked on drives with no whistle. A shoulder to the chest? Play on. A flagrant foul? Apparently just physical basketball.
The story about Stephanie White. Why she likely is like this. You're wondering, like, how did she see Caitlin Clark play like this and decide, you know what, nah, we're going to build through Ari McDonald. Stephanie White, in the years of like 2015-ish, she went to Vanderbilt. And she tried to play an up-tempo offensive game, and they were terrible. They were terrible. She couldn't win a game. And then she goes to the Connecticut Sun and says, screw offense. And by the way, that Connecticut Sun team are good offense players. Bree Jones is a good offensive player.
Meanwhile, the commissioner sits silent as controversy mounts. The WNBA had a moment to embrace change, to grow through talent, energy, and fan interest. But instead, it feels like the league is becoming more about performative politics than actual basketball. We're not tuning in for hashtags. We're not here for PR campaigns disguised as inclusivity. We're here to watch elite athletes compete, to witness greatness. And right now, that greatness is being shackled. The fans feel it. The ratings show it. And if something doesn't change soon, the league will lose the very momentum it spent years chasing. Caitlin Clark isn't the problem. She's the opportunity. So the question now isn't whether she's good enough. The question is, does the Indiana Fever and the WNBA have the courage to get out of her way? Because if not, she won't just change teams. She'll change everything. There's a reason fans are starting to look around, wondering, are we the only ones seeing this? Because this isn't about one missed call, one bad lineup, one benching. This is about a pattern, a system that seems actively allergic to common sense. People aren't just frustrated. They're exhausted. They're tired of seeing their favorite
focus, lack of knowing the game plan. How do you summarize kind of what you saw out there?
No, I was disappointed because I felt like there was a lack of competitive fire. With the exception of about 2 5-minute spurts, our attention to detail was poor. I'm not sure if it's not knowing the game plan, as much as, because if it's not knowing the game plan, then that's a whole nother
player, a once-in-a-generation talent, boxed into a system designed to mute her brilliance. They're tired of the rotating excuses, the backstage politics, the sudden pivot from performance to PR. And they're especially tired of watching league officials sell distractions as progress. You want to know how bad it's gotten? Just look at the fan base. A silent exodus is underway. Not everyone's unsubscribing literally, but emotionally? They've already left the building. What started as record-breaking excitement is being smothered under mediocrity, and the spark is going out. This wasn't supposed to happen. Caitlin Clark wasn't just a great college player. She was a moment. A cultural shift. She brought in viewers who had never watched a WNBA game. Kids copied her form on playgrounds. Adults tuned in just to see what she'd do next. She gave the league a second wind, and instead of building with her, they're benching her spirit. Let's be honest. Clark and coach Stephanie White may genuinely respect each other. But respect doesn't mean agreement. And more,
there is so much about this game that needs to change, because I was going over some of the stats, I was going over some of the points and what was changing, and honestly, from the coaching to the players, this game needed to change completely. Now, I do understand that the Indiana Fever are a team that have faced a lot of changes, a lot of adversity. There's been so much inconsistency. There has not been able to be any time to find a rhythm, really. And just as the team was finding a rhythm with their defense, playing without Caitlin Clark, she comes back in. And, Caitlin Clark is what makes this team really fun to watch. And it was great to see the Indiana Fever succeed in those 2 games that they...
It's clear they don't see the game the same way. Clark sees space, tempo, vision. The system sees boxes, roles, and restrictions. What we saw against the Golden State Valkyries made it plain: something is broken. This was supposed to be the turning point, a return to form. But instead, it confirmed the worst fears. Clark isn't being unleashed, she's being reined in. And the message is chillingly clear: if you don't play their way, you'll be minimized. Repackaged. Turned into background noise. This isn't just about Caitlin Clark. It's about every little girl who watched her pull up from the logo and thought, I want to do that. Only to discover the league isn't quite ready for the revolution she represents. It's about every new viewer who tuned in expecting brilliance, and got handed confusion, ego, and a system that treats generational talent like it's a second-hand lawnmower, valuable, but misused. And the silence from leadership? Deafening. The coaching stubbornness? Baffling. This is starting to feel less like a league and more like a reality show where basketball is the subplot, a stage for personal agendas, not athletic excellence. Because the truth is, Stevie Wonder could have told you from day one, Caitlin Clark is a point guard. Now somebody please forward that memo.
Caitlin Clark returned today to the Indiana Fever, and it was not enough for them to pull off the win against the Valkyries. The Valkyries actually had control pretty much the whole game. Their largest lead, 23 was the Valkyries' largest lead, and 9 was Indiana's largest lead. Caitlin ended with 10 points, 4 turnovers. The only person that had more turnovers than her was Tiffany Hayes. She had 6, but she did have a plus in the plus minus. Tiffany did. Indiana did shoot better from the free throw line. They were 93%, and the Valkyries were 76%. But the Valkyries shot a better field goal percentage and 3-point percentage.